Guys, welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. My name is Danny Hoyt. Next to me is the lovely Chelsea Briche. There's only two of us. There was two guys on The Bachelor. We've ended with one. Maybe our show will end with, I don't know, but we're going to break it all down. Let's do this thing.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
This is such a fitting song. Started with two, we ended with one. Guys, welcome to your Bachelorette After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. We're live in Los Angeles, California. Everyone is seemingly in Los Angeles right now. The whole cast of Bachelor in Paradise, Jordan, and
Robbie.
JoJo are here. Oh, I wasn't even going to go. I don't want to start with Robbie. Jordan and JoJo are here. Guys, if you're watching the show, I just want to let you know we're going to talk about who won. For some reason, there's inevitably every week someone gets on and watches our show that doesn't know, and we end up spoiling something, or so they tell us. However, if you're watching the show, this is an after show. It's built to be played after the show on TV. So we're assuming that everyone that's watching and listening right now has already seen the episode. So with that out of the way, just so everyone knows, if you do not know who won, stop listening now. Go to your DVRs, go to abc.com, watch the show. That being said, next to me, hi Chels, how are you?
Hey, Danny, I'm good.
Obviously, we're missing two panelists.
I know, miss you guys.
Brooks and Christina are off together on vacation. No, just kidding.
No.
Christina is in Greece on vacation with her
Spoiler.
fiance.
No, he's not there. She just went with the fam.
She went with the fam.
Yeah, he didn't go.
She's on vacation in Greece with her fam. If you follow her, Miss Zias, on Instagram, she's posting some really cool pictures. Greece looks amazing.
Amazing.
I need to go. And then Brooks is in Seattle, and I think he's shooting at some in Salt Lake City later. I don't know why I had a hard time saying it. Salt Lake City. Shooting something in Salt Lake City, but he's up there with his girlfriend now, with Lauren. They're hilarious. Do you follow them on Snapchat?
Yes.
They're
'Cause
fantastic.
I love them.
I wish they would have met on the show because they're definitely going to get married. And you know what I mean? It's like,
It would be like cool to.
it would be good for the franchise because they're fantastic. And here we are. Me and you. Just hanging. Chelsea, I feel like I've seen tears in your eyes a few different times tonight. Sometimes, I feel like they were mostly happy tears. Happy for JoJo.
Happy for JoJo. I'm also I love so much. So anytime when someone, like she was reading the guy's letters.
Yeah.
Or just that, the whole proposal scene. I did get a little teary-eyed. I didn't know you were watching.
I'm trying to be aware of my surroundings. I look over and your eyes are glossy. Of course, I'm going to notice something. Overall, I thought the episode was great. I thought After the Final Rose was terrible.
Awful.
And guys, we tried I know a lot of you are asking, we tried so hard to get someone into the studio tonight, to get a guest in once we found out both Brooks and Christina weren't going to be here. And even if we try every week to get someone in, this season's been incredibly hard. People's schedules, everyone's around. And then obviously tonight, everyone's at After the Final Rose. So I know, Nick is someone we love to have on the show. He would love to come on. He's at the show. And some other people like the Chad, who we tried. I was already excited to see Paradise separate from the Chad drama. Watching all the stuff that goes down and watching it makes me even more excited for Paradise.
With Chad being on there?
Yeah.
Really? I'm so over it.
I don't want him to take over the show the way he did the beginning part of the season, but I'm excited to watch some of his...
Just be a fool.
A little bit. I want him to shoot himself in the foot a little bit. Yeah. I think he has some redemptive qualities. I do want to see him find love, and I just think I want to watch himself realize for a second, okay, I need to calm my antics down. Because he just acts with reckless abandon. For a
moment tonight on After the Final Rose, I really thought he was going to have that redemption moment.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, Chad, go. And then he killed it again.
Yeah.
It just was not how I wanted him.
If he's asking to be the next Bachelor, 10 minutes before the show, a preview where he says, F you, Chris Harrison. You're not really doing yourself a lot of favors. Before we move into that, I want to say a quick thank you. I know I mentioned last week that I was hosting something last week that was one of the biggest things in my life, and I got this was really cool. Last Tuesday night, I hosted, for those of you that don't follow me on Snapchat, didn't know, I hosted an event for NBC for the Olympics. It was the social media kickoff for the Olympics, and one of the first 5 goals I wrote down when I started hosting was to host an event with Ryan Seacrest. and we co-hosted the event together. It was incredible. I was on the beach in Santa Monica for NBC, and it was like the big social media kickoff. We had a bunch of social influencers there and a bunch of former Olympians. It was unreal. But a lot of you guys reached out and said things on social media, on Twitter, and on my Instagram post that I posted the picture of Ryan and I. And then on Snapchat, it was so cool. It meant a lot to me. So I just want to say thank you. This was the only place literally that I announced beforehand that I was going to be doing something. And so it was kind of cool. I felt like I got to share it with you guys. I know a lot of you guys have been following the show and us for years. So that meant a lot to me. So I just want to say thank you.
No, it's so cool. We're so proud of you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it's
You're
opened some
welcome.
cool doors already. I wish I could tell you everything. I fly out Wednesday morning to go shoot someone else. Another network. It's been ridiculous. This entertainment industry is crazy. So very excited. I can see Chad now. Why like one cool season of Chad and people are like, come in, let's do a spinoff.
Yeah.
It happens so fast.
Yeah.
Anyways, so let's talk about tonight. Oh, you guys are saying thanks on the chat roll. You guys are the best. My gosh. Gemma Love, I Like Cereal, Liza, Canna, Jay, Marilyn, Misha, in a row. Canada as a country, you guys are the best. Okay, so let's break down tonight because that's what we're here for. Should we start backwards and move forward? Should we start with...
Yeah, I kind of want to start backwards.
Because Jordan Rogers...
Because
Jordan came... I feel like Jordan elevated to a new level tonight.
I mean... Super confession.
Yeah.
He won me over a little tonight.
Really?
During the actual episode, not getting into after the final rose. Yeah, he really did, because I had a moment, and I think I looked at you and even said it out loud, when he was trying to explain to her why he didn't ask her father for permission
on the beach day.
On the beach.
Yeah.
A part of me was like, wait, like I've never thought about it that way. I think in a really selfish way, or maybe just being a woman, I've always thought about, like, imagine what it would be like for me, you know, on the day that I get engaged. So I've never listened to a guy think, you know, I only want to ask one father for permission, you know, and how much that meant to him. Or maybe it was just like that part of my heart that felt it for him, but he really did win me over a little bit after that conversation.
See, here's my thing with Jordan. I never was against him, and I know a couple episodes ago I said he would probably be one of the guys in the house that I would first gravitate towards and hang out with. This is separate from all the tabloid drama and whatever. And so I've never not liked him, but I've been wary. I think what JoJo was doing.
So has she? Yeah,
wary,
I totally
because
agree.
you hear things, and even tonight I was getting text messages during the finale from a friend who's friends with the Rogers family, with his brother, and so she's heard the other side from Aaron of the stuff that Jordan's done, and it just still makes me a little like, But let me put that aside for a second. Tonight I feel like, and I know a little bit of his editing, I feel like the producers, the way they showed us Jordan, they showed us all the best sides of Jordan tonight. They saved some of it. Yeah, because I feel like we saw good things, enough for him to win people over, but there's still a big part of America that was divided on Jordan Rogers. And I feel like tonight he, like you, won over a lot of people. I think that he was articulate. It was beautiful. His only fault was maybe not asking your dad, but then, like you said, we kind of understand maybe why he didn't in that moment.
And that letter, obviously I feel like the producers pushed both of them to write the letter, but
who do you think did it first? Because I'm sure one of them wrote it, and the producers were like, hey, you know, Jordan was writing a letter, or do you think they were to Robbie?
God, I feel like that's such a Robbie move, because he wants to be like a poet. But on the other hand, how else was Jordan supposed to tell her that he asked for her father's permission? You know?
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't just text her.
And I want to clarify, because Canada's asking, people are saying spill the beans. Nancy's saying spill the beans. I can't say... And to be honest, to be frankly really honest, and I'm completely honest, I don't know all the details of what Jordan has done to Aaron. I'm sure it's more family drama.
Or vice versa.
Or vice versa. I don't know. And I don't care to know. I don't need to know. It's not my business. I just know from a friend that is close with Aaron, doesn't really know Jordan, close with Aaron, has heard the other side of the story, which is interesting. There's two sides to every story. And it makes it, you know, it really lets you know, like, some of that stuff. I think the big thing for me is I wish Jordan wouldn't have ever said anything. Because it doesn't, and that was, Aaron was asked in an interview, you know, what do you feel about this? And he was like, well, I don't think family stuff should ever be aired in tabloids. I agree with that. I think that's part of the problem. Like, Jordan probably shouldn't have said that at all. And I think he did a good job to make up for it tonight. I think
he took that question and he
went right around it. And so did she.
Yep.
It was like they game planned. And I got to be honest, I was a little over Chris Harrison talking about it. I was annoyed.
I was over Chris Harrison the whole final rose.
Yeah, let's save that, because I have some thoughts on that as well. But so overall, you would say Jordan kind of won you over a little bit tonight.
He did, and it's also telling Jess, I mean, obviously she knew she was going to dump Robbie, but when each of the guys walked down, just to see her facial expressions, and I think seeing, like, when she saw Jordan, like, how she lit up, I think that's really special.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, I'm just such a sucker for that stuff, so to see her finally be able to express herself in that way, I was like, okay, girl, like, you know, but I'm still super weary.
Well, what do you think? So let's take it back before we get on that, on them post-show. In the show, what do you think it was in the span of this episode that she saw that put Jordan ahead of Chase for her? I mean, ahead of Robbie for her. Yeah, Chase is a whole nother thing. I'm thinking ahead to like next Bachelor stuff, which we didn't get to know, and it's driving me crazy.
I don't know how I'm gonna fall asleep tonight not knowing.
Everybody's already asking like
Luke for a whole season.
Yeah, we'll get there. But what do you think it was in this episode that put Jordan ahead of Robbie for her? What did she see?
Whatever that is, she's seen it the whole time. I mean, she has just always wanted it to be Jordan. I think always. I don't know if it's because there's something about him, you know, that was so wrong, or but you know, from the very beginning, or even tonight, like her family said, you were so quick to defend Jordan. You know, like, and one of the brothers asked a really hard-hitting question.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, why is that? And
that was an interesting moment because what happened was they brought up that Jordan didn't ask. This was so after Jordan met with the family, and then after Robbie met with the family, and then it's just the family now. And by the way, the brothers changed for me. Last season, the way they were to Ben, I was a little like weary, like, oh my gosh, her brothers are gonna rip these guys.
But I was hoping that they did.
I kind of was hoping they applied more pressure. And for all I know, from what we heard, from like what James was saying and what other people told us, they spent 4 or 5 hours, so they could have, and we just didn't see it. But watching them with the family, both them saying Jordan's phenomenal. We're not saying Jordan over Robbie or Robbie over Jordan. We're just telling you that he didn't. And she got very defensive. And
super defensive. She got really sassy with her mom.
Yeah.
She's like, Mom.
She goes, Mom, I'm not asking you. I'm asking Dad. And that was a big tell for me because she jumped. It lit a fire. And that comes from, I believe, she had feeling. I believe she was in love with both of them. But I think that comes from a deeper place of feelings.
Super deep. And I think in a sense, she just didn't want to hurt Robbie. Yeah. She was just so much more cautious about protecting his feelings, but I don't think in the protective because I'm in love with you way, just in a protective like
I care about you.
I care about you and I don't want to be the one to, you know, put that knife in your heart. So
when did you, because you just mentioned this, I want to say that's when I knew. So watching this episode, this is so interesting, and I want to ask you guys to tweet us if you can do it in 140 characters or less. I probably won't see the chat roll. It's a little harder to look at it when there's not 4 of us. So to try to read all the comments and talk to Chels and drive questions is a little hard to do. So I apologize right now if I miss you guys in the chat roll. Thank you for joining us. You guys are the freaking best. But so tweet us because I want to know at what point in the episode tonight did you realize it was Jordan? Because a lot of people realize before they walk down, and I looked at Chels. I paused the show we were watching. I looked at Chels. It was when she was crying. She said, I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to hurt him. I paused and I looked at Chels. I said, for me, that lets me know she doesn't want to hurt Robbie. Robbie's more of a sensitive guy.
Yep.
And there's no knock on that. I think he's wired as a more sensitive guy. And that for me was when I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, she doesn't want to hurt Robbie. It's not that she's not worried about hurting Jordan, but she wouldn't say it the same way about Jordan.
I agree. Totally agree.
Because
their reactions if she would have let Jordan go would have been very. Actually, to be honest, I thought Robbie was gonna have more of a breakdown than he did.
I thought he would break down more too.
I thought he was gonna be waterworks galore.
But it didn't really surprise me because I think it was building up. It was that earlier I had a big tell when she was talking about the different lives she would live. She's like, you know, if I was Robbie, I would always wonder. And the way she spoke about the life with Jordan, she said, and I wrote it down. She said, I would always wonder if there was this other life that was meant for me. And she spoke about it in a little more of like a wild sense. It kind of came across. The way it translated to me was a wild, like a life that's fun and full of life. And whereas Robbie, she pictured that more as a secure life and a house. The way he described it, where we're eating meatloaf. Who even eats meatloaf anymore? With Sauvignon Blanc and order pizza because we burnt it.
It was just like Robbie's.
It was kind of beautiful. It sounded like a line from The Notebook 2, which doesn't exist. But you know what I mean? It was beautiful, but I didn't see JoJo as a girl that would end up
that.
Yeah, with that.
Or
what was it for you?
What was the moment that I knew she wasn't going to pick Jordan?
All of it, put it together.
For sure, if she's sitting there and she got that fired up about hearing that Jordan didn't ask for permission, I mean, her initial reaction, that says it all. Obviously, if you react like that, that means you wanted him to do so.
Yeah.
So.
JM says kids in 9 months, ... JM163.
Yeah, that's what I mean. She's like, "What does life look like?" Right away, you know. And he's talking about meatloaf and kids crying in the other
Nancy
room.
Kaufman said she goes a meatloaf life.
I'm like, God.
I don't think JoJo wanted that meatloaf life.
Yep.
I will say once in a while meatloaf's not bad, but I haven't had it in so long.
I have to tell you, my mom makes some bomb meatloaf.
Yeah, but like, when's the last time you had who eats meatloaf anymore?
I have no idea. I can only make myself a bowl of cereal.
Maybe
so.
people do. I don't know. I haven't had it in forever. If you guys eat meatloaf, let us know. I'm not aware of much meatloaf happening in my life.
Send us some meatloaf recipes, is what he said.
Yeah, for real. So, Robbie, I want to talk about this breakdown. Do you think JoJo cut it off at an appropriate time? You think she should have cut it off sooner? Do you think she should have even let him walk down?
No.
Really?
Okay, here's
let me
my
hear.
thing.
Spill it, Chelsea. Let's go.
So, these are my two. I'm just going to use the word issues, but I'll use it lightly with the final proposal of the Bachelor Bachelorette.
Yeah.
I could not imagine letting someone hold my hand like that. Oof. And let all those words out, knowing full well that you're going to tell him not to get down on one knee. Like, I don't know if I wouldn't be able to sleep with myself that night. So I don't know if I would just go up to the car, you know, and thank you, this was wonderful, or even, but I could not let them go through with that and then have him pause before he's about to get down and say, I can't let you get down on one knee. But like, you knew that you didn't want him to get down on one knee. So you let him express all of those things that, you know, I'm sure is really, he only wants to express to one woman in his entire life.
Yeah. And I like that she stopped him before the knee and she said, I don't want to take that moment from you. But that's issue one, yeah?
I agree with that. But, like, I just don't think, to me personally, I don't think they should ever let anyone go through with saying all those things. My second thing, I also could not imagine then, don't get down on one knee, but let's hold hands and walk back to the car together. Like, I'm not going to hold anyone's hand brutally rejected like that.
I think he was a little in shock the same way Luke was. Where it was like, I love this person, so your body language is still reflecting love.
Their body language was so off. Did you see her trying to hug him?
It was off, but he still, like, gave her a hug.
Yeah.
I think his body language was still showing the love, but his head was telling him, like,
totally.
No, you need to go. Even just blurted out one time, he's like, I gotta go. In that moment, there's no way I'm going to walk away, like, right away. I want to talk. I want explanation. I probably would have a conversation a little bit. Then I would cry. Then I'd probably wipe him off and ask some more questions.
Right.
There's no way I'm just going to be like, I got to go. Unfortunately, because of the show and the way they break it down, this is what I was talking about, is that he has to go.
Right.
How long do you think that time is? The time he leaves.
Between?
Fresh makeup, wipe away the tears.
Because to have a heartbreak like that and then to be proposed to in the same day... It's absolutely mind-blowing to me. I may have a little insight on this. So I was watching, they were on the ocean. And the only reason I know this is because I watch Bear Grylls and he does this thing where he holds fingers up to the sun and between the sun and the horizon. For each finger, it's about 10 minutes until the sun goes down. Okay.
Okay? At the end, we see you're laughing at me. This is a real thing, people.
This is
a real thing. I do this when I'm out in the wild with my friends. I go camping all the time. This is how I don't like to have technology unless I'm Snapchatting. Anyways,
that is the biggest lie.
Only when I'm Snapchatting.
Which is every second.
That's not true. When Brooks and I went to Catalina with some friends, we went out for like a 5 hour.
To everyone that follows Danny, have my back for a second. Danny is always Snapchatting. Thank you.
Adventure. And we cliff jumped and didn't take any technology and swam, and it was amazing.
I'm so proud of you.
And it was at night, and that's how we told.
Okay, so go back. So anyways, you tell.
So I'm watching, and I'm kind of like visually trying to like hold fingers up. So I believe when the first one, when she turns Robbie down, was somewhere about, and I don't know exactly what time the sun set there. Let's say the sun was setting at 7 o'clock even.
Okay.
The sun was still pretty high. I would say it was about 5:15 when she lets Robbie go. When she's talking to Jordan,
makes me a little
it's about
anxious.
6:15, okay? Because you can see I even commented you. I was like, look at her hair. Look at the gold on her hair, the gold on her skin. It was perfect gold. Did I not? It was perfect golden hour. And then when they have the final toast, like after he proposes, then the producer's like, hey, we need this shot. We need the Neil Lane. He has to redo the opening of the box. Then they go and they do the toast, and the sun is perfect between them. It's about 10 minutes maybe from going down at that point. So I'm trying to plan in my head, okay, the whole proposal takes 10 minutes. And then they take time for the shots, and the sun is there. That's my best guess. So there's an hour between.
I'm just still that gives me all the feels.
I could be way wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. But
okay,
anyways.
even if it's just a few hours in the same day. Like, for me to get over a breakup takes a very long time, let alone to get over a breakup and then have, like, the love of my life get down on one knee. I would be the most emotional person on this human planet, or this, like...
Yeah. Well...
I mean, am I crazy? Does anyone agree? Do you agree with me?
No, you're not crazy. I think that... and apparently Jimmy Kimmel is happening right now, so I'm really excited to see this Jimmy Kimmel interview. Everybody's asking about it. He's starting with their interview coming up. So they go straight to Kimmel and then they go straight to the airport. So that'll be interesting to watch. But let's do this. Let's talk about After the Final Rose and some Men Tell All. Let's group these together.
Okay.
Men Tell All. Let's do that first a little bit because it was boring for me. They build it up to be super. Chad was the biggest story of it. I thought Chad and Alex would have a little more.
Yeah.
What did you any takeaways from Men Tell All that were necessary?
Honestly, I was probably a little zoned out and just scrolling through Twitter. Nothing really appeared to me. I mean, not to like overdo the whole Luke thing, but he's the only conversation that him and Chase are the only two conversations that I truly paid attention to.
Yeah, I mean, did anything stick out? Did Luke seem like he was someone who's still a little in shock? Because that's kind of what I saw, was a little bit of like I'm going to try to get over this, but I'm not yet.
Yeah.
It hit heavy for me watching Luke.
It hit super heavy. And on the opposite side, I give JoJo or any Bachelor huge props to be able to walk into a room.
Absolutely. With
all your exes just sitting there.
Yeah.
And they're just ready to.
I wish she would have went off on Chad and she's like, I could go off right now. And all the other guys were like, please do. Yeah. I wish she would have. But I respect her for not.
Yeah, I respect her for not because I think she's a little classier than that. Because could you imagine if she did, we would have all been so shocked. Like, we didn't know you had that video. Yeah. But yeah, I think it was just out of class.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else that really, really stuck out to me. I didn't see, from Chase, I don't know if I saw enough of a sparkle or a twinkle. This is going to sound really, this is a bad way to describe this, but I didn't see if I saw enough of like a shining star of Chase to be the next Bachelor. I think he had a chance at the end the way we saw him leave the show. Mm-hmm. And I think if he would have came on Men Tell All and just been this like suave, debonair, like Casanova of the Bachelor franchise guy, that was 3 big words right there. But if he would have came in and just like delivered, I think he would have really made a case and that it would have started a little bit of attraction.
Wait, so I always thought that The Bachelor was announced at the final...
There's no for sure formula.
But haven't they almost always done that?
That's how they've done it for The Bachelorette usually, is they'll announce it on the After the Final Rose.
So when do we know?
But The Bachelor doesn't air until January, first week of January. So we could, people or Deadspin, someone will leak it, and my guess is like November, December, maybe October, because they start filming like October.
Right.
Or is it end of September? They start filming early fall, middle fall. So
soon.
At some point it'll be, kind of soon. We're about a month, 6 weeks away. But I don't think they will announce it until like right at the beginning of filming or after, because then people will start seeing and it'll be out. Yeah. So I think it'll be a couple weeks.
Okay.
And I still think. Who
are you betting on?
I still think it's Luke. What's interesting is, and I said this to you before tonight's show.
Yeah.
So if she would have picked Robbie, I think Jordan would have been the Bachelor. If she picks Jordan, I think there's no way Robbie's the Bachelor.
There's no way Robbie's the Bachelor.
I think he has less than a 1% chance.
Yeah, I mean, there's 0% chance.
I think Luke is a 70% chance, maybe 80. And I think Chase is 15, and then maybe a wild card, and I don't even know who it would be.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I see Luke all over Twitter, like, Luke for Bachelor. And I really think that they take America's opinions into account.
All right, let's do this. I'm going to read off the first 10. Okay. I want you to chat on the chat room right now if you think it's Luke or Chase.
Everyone go, hurry.
Not who you want it to be, who you think it's going to be. Okay, who you think it's going to be. I'm going to read off the first few of these. I'll read your name and what you say. Just one word, Luke or Chase, who you think it's going to be. Okay, here we go. LA says it's Luke.
Woo.
Come on. There we go. Canada says Luke. Jayam says Luke. Annabelle says Luke. Emma says Luke. Melanie Gomez says Luke. Nancy Kaufman says Luke. Canada says Luke again.
And
Chelsea Iglesias, Luke.
Spoken.
Okay, jeez. Luke. This is Emma, Laya, LA, Canada, LA, Chanel, Chantel, Emma, Misha, Avi. Everyone says Luke. Yeah. I don't see a single Chase. There we go. Misha C, the one and only Chase vote. Oh, there's one more. Teresa Garcia says Chase. And Luke said, Luke, unfortunately, Sarah. See, I disagree. I think Luke can carry the show. I think we've seen enough of his personality. Yeah. I will say, excuse me. I was DMing with Luke last week, and I know a lot of people their hesitation on Luke is and I saw one person tweet this last week, and it's that he doesn't have enough personality to carry the show. I completely disagree. I think I showed you. You sent me like he sent me something that was really funny, and I laughed out loud funny. And it was instant, like he's quick on his feet. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot more to Luke that we didn't get to see.
Seen.
Yeah. And apparently, like when James was here, James Jo Fletcher, James had a lot to say about him, and he spoke so highly of Luke. Even after the show, we rapped about it a little bit. And so hearing all these guys have this great impression of one guy in the house, that he's friends to everyone, he's nice, and they have a great impression.
Yeah, I don't think he's a dud on the wall by any means.
I didn't hear the same about Chase.
So there we go.
Anything else on men tell all? I really didn't hear. Thank you guys, by the way. Oh my gosh. I like Cyril says they want to see Daniel be the next Bachelor. That would make it the best season ever. Chanel Montepete says I should do it. You know, I would happily if the producers contacted me. They did actually. Do you remember this?
No.
Oh, you weren't here. When we said Brooks tweeted out that I should go on for JoJo's season.
Yeah, I was here.
A producer.
Thanks for remembering.
Oh yeah, you were. A producer reached out. I had to send in an audition video that night on Brooks' cell phone. That's a real thing. So I guess they really do listen. But I guess there was nothing else really on the men tell. I just didn't see them really telling. There wasn't anything. Yeah, there wasn't any big secret from me. So let's move to after the final rose because this is what everybody wants to talk about.
I feel like it's even worse than the men tell all.
This was the worst, and I'm a fan of the franchise. Obviously, I've done this for 4 years.
Right.
3 seasons for the last 3 years. I love The Bachelor. And I'll stand by Chris Harrison, but I gotta be honest. This was the worst performance I've seen Chris Harrison give. And I say performance lightly because he never performed. But as a host, you're always on. As a host, this is what we do. We're always on. We're always engaging, and we're always, making a flow happen. Listening and if somebody says something, responding to that. It was awkward as hell.
It was, okay. The awkwardness between Chris and JoJo and Jordan as a couple, and then I think there were still awkward moments from Jordan and JoJo, and combining all of that on one set just oozed awkwardness. I didn't even want to watch. Like, I didn't feel any of the love. I feel like Chris Harrison might as well just have been in another country, not even listening to them. They were talking about the whole time about how hard this has been, and he's like, have you guys run into any road bumps? I'm like, have you not been listening to anything they've been saying for the past 15 minutes?
Yeah, and then he went to commercial and came back and asked the same questions again.
Yeah, it was super weird. And I don't think it was, I mean, I get that they do it for TV, but to throw up all those tabloids, and it was just, I felt like for the Bachelor franchise, they should have had JoJo and Jordan's back a little more.
Yeah.
Instead of just, like that. I feel like they kept shoveling the dirt onto them.
Usually it's such a happy moment. I think of like Josh and Andy. They were so just elated.
Yeah.
I think of Ben and
Lauren.
And Ben and Lauren B. Like they were so elated.
Yeah.
And so it's like a we're rejoicing with you moment. This reminded me of the only other time I can remember right now off the top of my head, Chris Harrison being like this was Juan Pablo.
Yep.
When he was like grilling him, and Juan Pablo got defensive, and Chris kind of took the like, well, I'm with the franchise.
Yeah.
And he kind of was like, the people have spoken. Like they were the ones that were saying this, and Juan got very defensive. I just felt very, it was like watching a train wreck happen. I followed like Sean Lowe, for example, on Twitter, and he was tweeting like, please make it stop.
God, just make it stop.
Everyone was like, please make it stop.
Yeah.
He asked back to back, he said, how's it been? Has it been rocky at all? And then right after that, he asked, were there ever times that you almost broke up? So what this told me, and this is where I think he got this from, because we've all read the tabloids and we've all seen the tweets and heard the rumors that they've been rocky, that it's been kind of tough. So I think what he was doing is trying to give some validity to what these tabloids have been asking and try to do his due diligence in asking this. But I don't think it was necessary. And I don't think it was fair.
I don't think it was fair. I think they should have at least allow them to have a shining moment. They weren't even shown in any light, like the lights were just off for them and the second that they walked out on stage. And to ask one question, absolutely, it's fair game and, it's what's been going on. But just to throw all of them their way, this is their first public appearance on the franchise, I just don't think that was right.
Misha C. just asked a great question. She said, do you guys think something happened behind the scenes that caused Chris to basically throw them under the bus? And I do. And I was about to bring this up, so I'm glad you asked. That's a fantastic question. I think that it stems from the whole idea of Aaron and Jordan. I don't think this is the whole thing, but I think it's a big part of it. Chris referenced twice. He asks Jordan right there about Aaron Rodgers. He mentions the last name. We all know who he is. You don't need to do that.
Right.
He mentions the last name. And he mentions twice, we talked about this after the show, and we talked about this. He said that twice. He said, we talked about this, which tells me that Chris really wanted to bring it up. It sounds to me like Jordan was like, no, I don't want to do that again. I made the mistake once. He skirted the question completely when Chris actually did ask it. So I wonder if backstage Chris Harrison was like, look, we can ask you what, I'm going to ask you this, I'm going to ask you this. And Jordan was maybe like, please don't ask me about Aaron. And Chris Harrison was like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. You know what I mean? I wonder if something like that kind of happened.
Yeah, but why? Why would that?
Because they know it's ratings, and it's awful, but it's ratings. And
but I don't think that show elated any good ratings.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But I think that in their minds, they think, well, if we attach a Super Bowl winning quarterback to this, because that's what a lot of people attach to Jordan. It was just
like, is Aaron gonna come to the wedding?
That was tactless to me.
Oh my god!
That was the first time. This was the first time I was really disappointed in Chris Harrison.
Agree.
I had his back when he attacked Juan Pablo because I felt like he was asking questions that I wanted to ask. I would have never asked them those questions. I would have maybe been like, how's it been? Has it been hard? Has it been easy? Like, what's been the hardest part? Because that's a general question. They'd have been like, yeah, it's been hard. Of course it's been hard. But I wouldn't have asked them ever, has it been rocky? Did you guys almost break up?
Yeah. That wasn't fair. And I don't know, okay, playing devil's advocate, do you think it was maybe setting up because they don't believe that they're gonna last? So they could be like, well, we kind of called it.
Maybe. I really don't know. I thought that was just, it crossed the line for me. And in the end, he does wish him well. He kept him there like 2 segments too long. He kept coming back from commercial. Don't go anywhere. We've got more with Jordan and JoJo, and comes back and asks the same 6 questions differently. But I want to talk about Robbie, because obviously we got to see Robbie, and he got a chance to ask a question and to talk to JoJo. I liked did you notice their interaction? She comes out, and he kind of like did this.
Oh, he was like, she's so beautiful.
It wasn't
She's
just
everything.
a beautiful, I read it as like here's a human that I love in every sense of the word. Still.
Yeah, like a beautiful person. He was just like, it was almost like that's my girl sort of moment.
Yeah, and I don't feel like he even needed to ask the question to get closure. I think he needed to see her one more time. I don't know if the question even really gave him closure. Why?
Because she didn't really have an answer.
I don't know if he really got closure from that. If I'm him, I think it was nice to see him. She was cordial, he was cordial. I actually think they were beyond cordial. They were nice. It was a nice interaction.
But did you hear when he asked that question? He's like, do you still... I don't know. I don't remember exactly what he said, but do you still see a future? Or do you still think about a lifetime?
Do you still think about that? Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's a heavy question. What was her answer? I don't remember what her answer was to that.
Someone tell me if I'm wrong, but she did not outright say no. She alluded to like, well, yeah, I do sometimes.
Okay, Sarah, I have a question. You're mentioning Robbie's teeth. I kept looking at Robbie, and I looked at you. He looked different, and I couldn't figure out what it was.
Different. His eyebrows, his hair.
His eyebrows looked trimmed. His cheekbones looked more pronounced, and that could just be like maybe he lost weight. His beard looked a different color, but she is saying his teeth. I don't know what that means.
Oh, actually, someone texted me, and they said, I don't know why I just thought of this. They said, you're going to die. Someone got veneers.
Oh.
Was it him?
I Like Cereal said, what about his teeth and his outfit?
Oh, yeah, see,
LA says
my
he got
friend
new teeth.
texted me, oh my god, child, wait until after the roast. Someone got veneers and they look awful.
Really?
I don't know how I missed that, though.
You know what's interesting, and I gotta plug this. You guys know that we have a lot of sponsors on the show. So speaking of beauty and transitions, if you guys ever heard of BeautyCon, have you heard of BeautyCon box?
I have not.
BeautyCon box. It's a subscription box. So you never heard of these men's? They have like the trunk club, and they have ones for your dogs where you can get like treats and
Bark
stuff.
box.
Bark box. They have BeautyCon box. It's a subscription. There we go. It's delivered to your door each season, and the box is curated by beauty gurus. So people you look up to, maybe you follow on Instagram. You have all these different bloggers. You get over $150 worth of product for $30. And if you sign up, if you do the annual plan, you get you save an extra $20, which is fantastic. Saving money like crazy. You do the annual payment plan. You pay the total cost of the entire year of boxes, and then there's a seasonal payment plan where you pay each month. But you can go to BeautyCon. I want to make sure you guys hear this. BeautyCon.com/box to sign up for your subscription. If you use our code, you get an extra 20% off. That code. Oh, so glad you asked. It's BoxBuzz with 2 Z's. BoxBuzz. And I just want to make sure I I heard of a couple things in here. I actually use a sea salt spray in my hair because you know when you get out of the ocean, your hair is just like super thick.
Did you just want to get those perfect beach waves?
It's everywhere now. You can buy sea salt spray. In fact, my hairdresser, she uses it every time. She sprays it on. It smells good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But okay, I have to make a confession.
What? There
was like a span of like 2 weeks where I got actual ocean water and I put it in my hair because I wanted the real salt. This was like 2 years ago. You can't do it for more than 2 days because your hair smells terrible. So
From the ocean water?
Yeah, so they have to use like sea salt sprays like this. So in this box, you can get the Redken sea salt spray for beach wave textured hair. Smashbox's Brow Candy Johnson's go-to brow product, or is it NYX, NYX, NYX Ombre Lip Duo and Peaches and Cream for that bright pop of color for the summer.
Ooh.
Beautycon box, check it out. Okay, speaking of beauty, we were talking about Robbie. Marilyn Blythe is calling them his chiclets.
Oh my God. I need to go back and
see this. Tweet me a picture, someone please. I need like an up close picture.
Honestly, I probably wasn't paying attention because it was just so bad.
Yeah, I did. I just noticed something was different. I thought maybe he dyed the color of his beard because it perfectly matched his hair. And people in the chat room are saying he got the Bachelor upgrade. I don't think he's gonna be the Bachelor.
I don't think so either.
So let's do this.
Okay.
Let's do this. In predictions, let's go to predictions because we're gonna talk about Paradise and we're gonna talk about the next Bachelor and we're gonna talk about all that.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, Chels, here's what I need from you. We see a couple highlights of Bachelor in Paradise, and we hear there are multiple proposals. We see Neil Lane rings, we see Nick Viall holding a ring, we see a box opened, we see a lot of things. Couple predictions. I want to, first, we're going to talk about who the next Bachelor is going to be officially.
Okay.
I know we kind of talked about it, but I want to hear your official declaration of who the next Bachelor is going to be, and then second, we're going to talk about who the proposals are. First up.
Official declaration of the Bachelor.
Yes.
Is Luke.
Luke Pell.
Luke Pell.
What percent?
Coming
You're
in
100?
hot, 100%.
100% coming in hot.
Yep.
What do you see his type of girl being? Give me an example from a girl from like this season or maybe from the Bachelor franchise.
Ooh. Looks, personality.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Give me like what, like one girl. It's like, oh, that could be like I could see something like maybe from the last Bachelor, maybe from Bachelor in
no,
Paradise.
I don't want it to be anyone from a previous show.
Ooh, can we get that? Can we get that Calvin Harris song under this as well? Like, can we get that playing? I just kind of want like
love this
I kind of
song.
want like a vibe of this. Yeah. And she's looking at you. So you see, like, give me an idea just of a similarity, like Amanda Stanton, who we see on Paradise.
I think too sweet.
Do you think of like an Andy Dorfman? She's got like a spunk fire.
Yeah. She's got to have a spunk.
Dark hair or light hair?
Super tall.
Super tall. Yeah, because he's like 6'3", 6'4",
Yeah.
and he's got tall hair.
I'm just gonna go with a dirty blonde.
What about a country girl? I'm gonna throw out a name.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw out a name who I think.
You've really thought about this.
This is my yes, I've thought about this.
Okay.
I think Luke Pell is the next Bachelor, and are you guys ready for this?
Ready.
Ready? Becca Tilley.
No.
Becca Tilley has country vibes.
Nope.
Becca Tilley is hilarious. Becca Tilley has the dirty blonde hair you're talking about. I think her and Luke would hit it off so hard.
I completely disagree with you.
Oh, come on.
Nope. I'm
really?
out. Yeah. I don't see it. I do not see them having that chemistry at
She
all.
didn't go on Bachelor in Paradise. I would almost wager.
Becca's already been on 10 times. Like,
she's been on 3, first of all.
Okay. In this world, that might as well be 10. Like,
well, Nick Viall's coming back, so whatever. We'll have him in. I promise you, we will have him in. And also, Sarah Heron's gonna come in. We're gonna get some people to come in and talk about Paradise. I'm excited to see Sarah on Paradise.
Paradise, I do think Nick and Amanda are engaged.
You think they are engaged?
I think
What
they are
about when we
engaged.
see him with the girl with dark hair shutting the door?
Nope, I think they're engaged.
You think that's
it's
editing?
a really good cut.
Okay.
Yep.
I mentioned this after I got back from New York, and I
Right.
wanted to be very careful about this. I didn't want to say this until the show officially announced it. When I was in New York, I hung out with a bunch of people from the show, and they told me there are multiple engagements. I promise I don't know who,
Yeah.
but they did tell me there were multiple engagements.
Isn't that crazy?
And then the show says it. They said there
Yeah.
are multiple engagements. So,
There's so much love.
I'm wondering, I think Nick and Amanda could be one. Obviously, they showed us that. I was going to say maybe like a Lace and somebody, but if it's not Chad and it's not Grant,
Dear
or maybe
God,
maybe it could be Grant.
imagine Lace and Chad engaged?
Well, it looks like that happens because the way they showed it to us, they said Chad is there on the first night, which means tomorrow. But then it also looks like he says "F you, Chris Harrison" and throws things.
Right.
So maybe Grant is after Chad if we're guessing on timelines.
Okay.
I could see maybe something like that happening. I was gonna say maybe Ashley I because and we see
Something
Wells come in.
Yep.
By the way,
What
Wells.
an interesting couple.
I know, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But by the way, Wells on Men Tell All was awesome.
Awesome.
I forgot to mention that.
Loved him.
I already loved Wells. He
Yeah.
was one of my favorites. He was my favorite on Men Tell All. I think he showed so much class. People are just guessing Jared and Kayla. I could see that. Oh, Melanie Gomez. Okay, Chelsea, listen to this. Melanie Gomez just said, Becca tweeted, "Who's the next Bachelor? Just trying to clear my schedule." What? See, I told you.
No, you guys,
Ugh.
I don't agree.
Okay, looks like Chanel Montpetit. I have no idea how to say this girl's name. Chanel Montpetit. I'm sorry, I know I'm botching it, but she said she Googled spoilers, and she
Well,
said
don't
there's,
say it.
but she said lips are closed. I don't.
Oh, okay.
Please don't ever tweet us spoilers. Can I just put that clarification out there? We don't want them because we can't say them, and it changes our bias and our ability to. So I appreciate you guys not doing that. Gosh, who else could you possibly see? Daniel? What about Daniel getting engaged?
No.
All right, so we're in agreement.
I'm just gonna go with no.
We're in agreement. Luke for next Bachelor. All right. Well, that is our Bachelorette season. Jeez, Chelsea, it's been fun.
It's been fun.
We did another season. You guys, thank you to everyone out there on chat roll and across the world. I was getting Snapchats from Switzerland this morning. But you guys are all over the world. We love that you guys watch us, you join us, you hang with us every single week. We will be back here tomorrow night. It's going to be a little later. We're going to be live at 11 p.m. Pacific. I know that's super late. It's the time we used to go live.
Super past my bedtime.
Yeah, super past my bedtime, especially because I have a 6 a.m. flight on Wednesday. But we'll be back covering the first night of Paradise, and then back to Mondays, the rest of the season, just like normal. And Brooks and Christina will be back. Oh my gosh, that was a mouthful. Chelsea, in the meantime, where can people find you and stay connected with the Millennial Miss?
Yeah, so my blog is themillennialmiss.com, and then I'm everywhere on social media at Briche. Thank you, guys.
Guys, I can't say thank you enough. I do want to mention one thing. A good friend of mine is putting out his album tonight at midnight Eastern Time. You might remember him from American Idol, Mackenzie Borg. One of my favorite people in the world, one of my very good friends, and his album drops tonight, and I'm very excited about it. So check it out. He doesn't even know I'm doing this, but I wanted to plug him because he's probably the nicest kid I've ever met in my life. You can follow me on everything at Danny Hoyt or on Snapchat at DannyHoyt47. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Love you. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you tomorrow night at 11 Pacific.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.